Hey, I'm Jordan Rudis, and most people know me as the keyboardist for the band Dream Theater. My background is very much in classical piano, and after that I left the classical world to play synthesizers, but my focus has always been on the traditional piano keyboard. These days I've been very interested in alternative type controllers, and that's probably the reason that the people from See Through Music contacted me about presenting their new instrument, the AXiS 64. When I thought about the idea of presenting something like this, I thought it's very cool, but my question was, can I wrap my head around it and learn how to play it in time to do this video? And it's been a few months since I've had it. The story behind it is that I asked the people from See Through Music to please send me one so I could play it a little bit and evaluate it. And I thought, well, there's a chance that maybe I'll like it or maybe I won't. But after 2 hours of playing the instrument, I was feeling like this is totally awesome, and all the patterns really made sense to my mind. And the more I played it over the last couple months, the more the thing started to really seep in, to the point where I'd go to sleep at night and I'd actually be almost like dreaming about the various patterns, and I'd wake up the next day, I'd say, oh my God, you can do this, or you can do that. So I got really kind of involved in it, and I've been playing it now for a couple of months. And I'm here today just to talk to you about it and show you a whole nother way of thinking about the tonal system, and I'm very excited to be representing See Through Music and showing you this instrument. It's a very daring thing to change the nature of the piano layout, because really the way that we know the piano has been around for about 200 years. Even though before that they were playing around with having extra keys and doing different things with the scale, the way that we play it at this point is something that is so ingrained in all of our minds. So it takes something really substantial to kind of change that up. And the harmonic table, which the AXiS uses, is just that, really. For someone who is new to learning music, it's probably going to make a lot of sense, and maybe more sense than something like a piano keyboard. Personally, I've spent so many years playing all the different scales and different riffs in all the different keys that I kind of have a physical memory for how those scales are laid out. The problem with the piano keyboard is that every scale is actually played in a completely different way. Even if you're playing a simple major scale, if you play it in C major, it's one fingering. If you play it in E flat major, it's a totally different fingering. So you have to remember, like, what's the finger that I started the scale on? When did I change or turn my thumb under? It gets very complicated. With something like the AXiS, it's all based, as I said, on the harmonic table. And basically what that means is that it's very pattern-based. Anything that you play, if it's a major scale, a diminished scale, a whole tone scale, once you play it in one key, it's going to be exactly the same in any other key. The way that it's laid out is basically your vertical rows from top to bottom are all in fifths. So like if I played a C up here and played going down, it's all going to go down in perfect fifths. So any row, so the first thing that you'll notice is it makes it easier to play certain kinds of things that might not be as easy on a piano. I mean, it works the other way around as well. But the beauty of this instrument is that it makes so much sense harmonically. If you go up on a diagonal, for instance, if you go up to the right, you're going to have an augmented pattern. So if you start, let's say, on this low C and climb up, just going this way, it's going up in major thirds. So if you start, let's say, on this C, which is the same note just over a few rows, and go up here, it's going to be diminished because every note goes up a minor third. So you've got your fifths, you've got your augmenteds, and you've got your diminished. So let's look at something like a major scale. You can start on any note, and the fingering will be exactly the same. So wherever my hand lands, let's say it lands on a C, I'll start the pattern. I'll just, just land on a note. Okay, G sharp, it's the same fingering. I'll land here, E flat. So anywhere you land, it's going to be exactly the same. Things like playing diminished scales are really fun on the AXiS because you can basically play, let's say, from here and go up a half step, which is the note directly over to the right. And then I go up actually on a diagonal and I keep the pattern exactly the same. So it would look like this. And that's playing half step, then going up a whole step, and then half step. Diminished scale is half whole, or the other way around. And the other way around is fun as well on the AXiS because I can play like from C to D, and then keep the same pattern and move up diagonally. Playing whole tone scales are also fun. You can start on any note. It's all the same. Start off by playing a whole step, move to the next row, and going up this time to diagonally to the right. Start on any note. I could do it, if your hand is wide enough, 3 notes at a time, and then skip to the next row. So all these kind of patterns are really, really awesome and make this instrument something that you can really kind of sink your teeth into and invest your time and your mind into and get some great results. You'll notice that the AXiS has different colors assigned to the different keys. And this will help you to orient yourself around the instrument. Much like a black and white piano, the AXiS has white keys and it has black keys. The white keys, similarly, are going to be all the equivalent to the white notes on the piano, and the black keys here on the AXiS will be black keys on the piano as well. The difference is that some of the keys on the AXiS are blue. All the G sharps and A flats, which is actually the same pitch, are going to be the darker blue, and all the light blue keys are D. As you look at the instrument, notice how that really comes together and orients you, because all the Ds are at like equivalent points around the keyboard, and all the G sharps, the darker blue, are, well, it's a tritone away, but it makes for a very noticeable pattern. So as you begin to play it, you can really find your way around. When I was first learning to play the keyboard, I remember my teacher was teaching me a little bit about improvisation and saying that, oh, if you just play the black keys and you kind of improvise on that, it makes a very pretty sound. The same is true on the AXiS. If you're just turning it on for the first time, maybe find a piano sound and try that. Just improvise a little bit, with the black keys. The other thing that you'll notice about the AXiS is that you have the same note in different spots. So you might have with the harmonic table, that's the way that things lay out. So you'll be able to do two-handed things that are really pretty interesting. You might want to play something that on the piano might be very, very confusing, but here on the AXiS, to do that on a piano, you'd have to have your hands like intertwined with each other. So the layout of the keys and the color will help you really to orient yourself and make the instrument very friendly. The other thing that you have to notice is the subtle changes of color. And what I mean specifically is that the AXiS can be divided into 3 different zones. Notice that you have your white keys in the middle, the pure white, and then off to the left, the white is actually a shade of gray. And on the right side, you have that again. So this will tell you when you have the instrument split where your zones are. When I first got the AXiS, I was excited to have an instrument that was pattern-based, as this is. I was thinking about, the writing sessions in Dream Theater when I'm writing music with John Petrucci, who is, of course, one of the world's greatest guitar players. And the way he composes is sometimes very pattern-based. And it's always interesting for me to take some of the patterns that he creates on the guitar that sound so cool and translate those to the keyboard. Because on the keyboard, you know, as we said, it's not pattern-based. So everything is with a different fingering. So when I got this, I thought, oh, this is an opportunity for me to really learn a little bit about, you know, how music is created with patterns like that. So I've been having a lot of fun with that and can really appreciate some of that kind of thinking, and plan to take this into the next writing sessions as well as a tool to help come up with some other kinds of riffs, which, you know, it does so well. One of the other interesting things here is that when you think chordally, the chords are really very shape-oriented. For instance, you have these various triangles that you can create. Anywhere on the keyboard you can get to a particular triangle. Let's take a major chord and play it very easily. Matter of fact, you can do it with one finger, because if you play a note and then go one note up to the right and then to the left, which creates this nice little triangle, you have a major chord. So anywhere you hit that shape, triangles all over the instrument, you're going to get major. If you're playing on a traditional black and white keyboard, you know that every chord is positioned very differently. Now, minor is a triangle similarly to that, but if you go diagonally to the left, that's where you get your minor third. Now, we all know that a minor triad is based on minor third and then major third. And just for you theory buffs, a major triad is major third and then minor third. So on the AXiS, all your minor triads are going to be a triangle to the left. Right? So any note, wherever you press, it's always going to be the same thing. Very, very convenient. Very easy to understand. If you want to build a diminished triad, that's even easier, because those notes, as we said, go up in the diagonal. So you can start on any note and then just play consecutive notes in that direction. So you get, so from any point, if you stay in that configuration, you're going to get two minor thirds. Minor third, minor third, minor third, minor third. And to create like patterns like that of, you know, to play in a diminished kind of concept, you can and play chords. It's a really, really cool thing. Augmented is just as easy. You just go the other way. So if you play anywhere and go up, you can get augmented chords from anywhere. So I hit an F, play consecutive notes there, hit an E. So playing an augmented concept is the same as diminished. A lot of fun. It's very difficult to introduce a new keyboard layout to the musical world, but the new AXiS instrument really offers something that's worth your time and will open up entirely new avenues of musical expression for you. Have fun with it.